okay, summer's here,
Yeah.
or maybe you're just thinking about it. And for a lot of us, that means thinking about a summer job.
Right.
There's definitely that kind of buzz,
Yeah.
extra cash, maybe new skills.
Yeah.
But let's face it, the search itself and just the idea of diving into something totally new can feel, well, kind of draining before you even start.
Oh, definitely. Especially if you identify more as an introvert. We looked at a whole stack of sources for this deep dive.
Uh,
Surveys from places like Indeed, Toast, the American Psychological Association, Flex Jobs,
yeah.
reports from Upwork, Glassdoor, library associations, Gallup, Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Wow, quite a range.
Yeah, and they really highlight how many, traditional summer roles seem almost purpose-built for constant interaction, high-energy environments.
Exactly. It's like the default summer job expects you to be on all the time,
Right.
navigating crowds, dealing with like unpredictable people nonstop. And if that's just not how you naturally recharge, the whole idea of finding summer work can feel less exciting and more like bracing for a few months of being totally wiped out,
But the sources, they really show it doesn't actually have to be that way.
which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to use this pile of research to really get why typical summer jobs often feel like such a mismatch for introverts.
Okay.
We'll pinpoint what these reports and surveys say makes a job truly, introvert friendly.
What to look for.
Exactly. And then we're going to reveal the top 3 summer job options that kept popping up in these sources.
Yeah.
Places where you can actually thrive, not just like survive.
Right. Without being constantly drained by social stuff.
This is really about cutting through that usual noise, those traditional expectations,
Yeah.
and showing you how to find summer work that respects your energy, plays to your strengths.
Summer work isn't just an extrovert's game. That's the key takeaway.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Diving into the sources.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes pretty clear, pretty fast, why those common summer jobs are often so tough for introverts.
It really boils down to that fundamental difference, doesn't it? How introverts and extroverts gain and use energy.
Yeah.
The American Psychological Association, they highlighted this. Introverts typically need that dedicated quiet time, often like 2 to 3 hours a day, the research suggested, just to feel recharged.
To engage again.
Whereas extroverts, they often get energized by the social interaction itself.
Right. It's not about being shy or antisocial. It's literally about your internal battery.
Exactly.
And like one survey we saw on retail workers, it showed that working a busy cash register, say at a popular summer spot, means you could interact with hundreds of people in one shift.
Imagine that, just a constant stream.
Nonstop.
And it's not just retail. We saw another report, I think it was Toast, focused on restaurants. Something like 60% of servers felt drained after shifts. Crowded, loud places.
Yeah, those jobs where you're constantly reacting, managing social situations in real time.
With almost no built-in quiet space or downtime.
So for an introvert, those environments, full of unpredictable social stuff, constant noise, the expectation to be super outgoing all the time, it just directly drains that battery instead of charging it.
And the sources show this leads straight to stress, burnout, not fulfillment.
So the challenge is finding roles that get this energy difference, that provide spaces for focus and less social overhead.
Exactly. And if that's the challenge, the sources also give us a pretty clear roadmap for what an introvert-friendly job looks like.
Okay. So what should you be looking for if you're trying to prioritize your energy?
The data seems to consistently point towards leveraging those inherent strengths.
Like what?
Well, introverts often really excel in roles that need deep focus, independent work, high attention to detail.
Okay.
They tend to perform best when they have some control over their immediate environment, can minimize distractions.
Which explains why remote work and freelance stuff often come up, right?
Absolutely. One report, I think, from Flex Jobs showed a big majority, like 65% of introverts they surveyed strongly preferred remote roles.
And why?
They specifically mentioned fewer interruptions, being able to control their workspace. Huge benefits.
Yeah, imagine swapping a noisy shop floor for, like, your quiet home office or even a library corner.
Big difference. And freelancing, that takes the autonomy even further.
How so?
We saw an Upwork survey suggesting around 38% of freelancers identify as introverts. They're drawn by setting their own hours, picking projects, working wherever they can concentrate best.
So you're not just doing a job, you're kind of building your own work structure.
Exactly. So the key things to look for are Independence, minimal, unpredictable social interaction, environments good for focus, and a chance to use that attention to detail.
Right. So project-based work or jobs with big chunks of solo time become really appealing.
Yeah, they tap into those natural tendencies in a way that feels energizing, productive, not
Mm.
draining.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Knowing those characteristics, let's look at the specific summer job options that these sources kept highlighting as ideal fits.
Yeah, the good stuff.
That moment where you realize, okay, I can have a good summer job without signing up for months of social exhaustion.
And the sources really zeroed in on 3 roles that align well with that need for focus, independence, less social pressure.
A real alternative to the usual summer grind.
Definitely.
Okay, first one on the list, data entry.
Yeah, data entry came up quite a bit. It's presented as a fantastic fit if you value precision and prefer working on your own.
Makes sense.
It's all about inputting, managing information in databases, spreadsheets, tasks that absolutely need strong organizational skills and that deep attention to detail we mentioned.
On the practical side, pay, location.
One source, Glassdoor, I think, suggested data entry roles could average between, say, $15 and $20 an hour for summer work.
Not bad.
And critically, they're often available remotely, or sometimes in quiet office settings designed for concentration.
The sources even mentioned specific companies, right? Like Amazon or Humana hiring seasonal data entry folks.
Mm-hmm. For things like processing online orders, updating customer records. The real beauty is the minimal need for like spontaneous chit-chat.
Right.
Most communication is often asynchronous. Email, chat. You control the pace, focus on the task.
So you can genuinely put on headphones, dive into the numbers or text.
Exactly. Your main engagement is with the information itself, not a constant barrage of unpredictable customer stuff.
It sounds like a pretty straightforward way to earn money in a low-stress, high-focus kind of way.
Yeah, definitely one strong option.
Okay, second option that kept appearing, virtual assistants.
Ah, yes, virtual assistants or VA work.
Hmm.
This is all about providing remote support to businesses, entrepreneurs.
What kind of support?
Oh, it's super varied. Could be scheduling meetings, managing email, creating presentations, organizing digital files.
Mm-hmm.
But the core idea is providing that help without needing to be physically there or constantly interacting face to face.
Which lines up perfectly with that preference for remote work we talked about.
Totally. There was a survey from the Virtual Assistant Association found that a big majority, like 70% of VAs, spend fewer than 5 hours a day actually interacting with clients.
Wow, only 5 hours or less.
Yeah. And that interaction is usually scheduled, video calls, email, you can prepare, it's controlled engagement.
Huge difference from being stuck on a checkout line all day.
Massive. And the pay can be competitive too. Recent Upwork data suggested summer VA roles often range from maybe $18 to $25 an hour, sometimes more if you have specialized skills.
And are there plenty of opportunities?
Seems like it, yeah. Especially with small businesses or online ventures needing flexible help during the summer.
So who would thrive here?
Probably someone who likes structure, organization, but really wants to avoid the constant energy drain of a busy social workplace. It lets you keep a much calmer summer vibe.
Makes sense. Okay, and the third top option these sources highlighted, this one speaks to me, library or archive work.
Oh yeah, the quiet sanctuary, absolutely a great summer spot for introverts who feel energized by calm, focused environments.
And working with collections, right? Physical or digital.
Exactly. Roles involve things like organizing books, helping patrons find materials, usually one-on-one focused interactions,
Oh, no?
or digitizing historical records, helping preserve documents, all in environments specifically designed for quiet work.
What's it pay like, generally?
The American Library Association data suggested summer library assistants might earn somewhere between, say, $12 and $18 an hour.
Imagine spending your days surrounded by books, helping people find things when needed.
Or maybe diligently working through old documents in the quiet atmosphere of a university archive or a public library's local history room.
That sounds amazing.
The sources even mention specific examples, like the New York Public Library hiring seasonal staff for cataloging projects.
Right.
Think about it. Accurately sorting and describing, say, 18th century manuscripts, that needs immense focus and detail,
No.
not constant chatter.
Definitely not.
So this kind of job lets you immerse yourself in knowledge, history, whatever the collection is, in a peaceful, distraction-free setting.
Makes the summer productive and genuinely restorative.
Exactly.
So looking at these three data entry virtual assistants and library or archive work, what is it fundamentally that makes them such a better fit than the usual summer jobs?
Well, when you pull it all together, bringing it back to the core findings from all those sources,
Yeah.
these roles just hit all the key notes for an introvert to really thrive.
Nick.
Significant independence, minimal, unpredictable social demands, environments that actively support deep focus.
They offer that powerful contrast to the high-energy customer-facing jobs that just seem to dominate the summer market.
And the data really backs up the need for alternatives. Remember that Gallup poll?
Uh-huh. The one about customer-facing roles.
Yeah, indicated a huge percentage, like 80% of workers in those roles report high stress, specifically from customer interactions.
Wow.
These alternative jobs let you keep much greater control over your pace, your space, your level of social engagement.
They basically challenge that whole idea that a summer job has to mean being super extroverted all the time
They really do. They prove introverts can find good, productive, well-paying work that respects their natural energy needs.
and leverages their strengths, like focus and detail.
Exactly. Whether you're crunching numbers from home, managing emails for a client miles away, or organizing old documents in a quiet archive.
You get to structure your summer work in a way that actually feels good for you.
Right. Taking a quiet walk on your break becomes a normal way to recharge, not some missed chance to socialize in a crowded break room.
It feels like the sources, just by highlighting these alternatives, are kind of pushing back against that traditional one-size-fits-all expectation for summer jobs.
I think they absolutely are. You know, the Bureau of Labor Statistics noted that something like 90% of summer jobs last year were in retail and service.
Which are overwhelmingly high interaction sectors.
Precisely. And the sources, taken together, they just highlight that this dominant structure, it's simply not a good fit for everyone, especially if constant social demands drain your energy.
So by exploring and choosing options like remote data entry or VA work or quiet archive stuff, introverts aren't just finding a job. They're kind of redefining what a summer job can even mean for them.
Yeah, prioritizing their mental well-being, leveraging their actual strengths instead of just trying to fit into an energy model that doesn't work for them.
This isn't just about dodging stress then.
No, not at all. It's about finding fulfilling work that plays to your strengths. It's about creating a more maybe equitable landscape for summer employment, one that values focus and concentration just as much as social energy.
Right. So wrapping up this deep dive then, we've seen how options like data entry, virtual assistants, and library or archive work really do stand out.
Yeah, they align perfectly with that need for independence, controlled social interaction, and environments where you can actually focus deeply.
And the sources show that stark contrast with the typical high-interaction jobs, where stress from constant customer demands is just really common.
Whereas these alternative roles offer that crucial control over your environment and, importantly, your energy.
Ultimately, finding these kinds of roles, it isn't just about minimizing stress, is it?
No.
It's about actively leveraging your unique strengths, redefining what summer work means for you, prioritizing your energy, your well-being, over just conforming to those old norms.
Whether you find yourself deep in data, managing digital tasks remotely, or surrounded by historical records, there are definitely options out there. Options that let you have a productive and restorative summer on your own terms.
It was interesting, too, seeing in the source material that the author, after doing all this research, was actually considering one of these options for themselves, like a virtual assistant gig, maybe?
Yeah, it really highlights the power of finding that alignment between your work and your natural state.
And, hey, if exploring topics like this, like finding the right job fit, resonates with you, you might find Mind Expansion Daily a really fantastic resource.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for continuing to explore more great resources, diving deep into other fascinating subjects just like this one.
Good to know. There's certainly no shortage of things to explore out there.
Definitely not. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Given how many summer jobs, and really how many parts of traditional work, are built around those high-interaction environments, what other areas of work, or even just life, might be commonly structured in ways that maybe don't suit different personality types? And, how could we collectively start to think about challenging those norms?
That's a big question. Definitely something worth considering as we move forward.